The Bachelor Joey Graziadei and his dad Nick stopped by Bachelor Happy Hour to talk about his dad coming out. They also talked about how it all affected Joey and helped him gain emotional maturity. What did these two have to share? Keep reading to find out more. Joey Graziadei and dad Nick discuss his coming out journey. Bachelor Joey Graziadei and his dad Nick went on the Bachelor Happy Hour podcast to talk about his dad's coming out journey. Joe Amabile and Serena Pitt asked the tough questions of Nick and Joey. They wanted Nick to share if coming out was difficult for him since he did so when his 3 children were all young. Nick was candid with his response. He said, "It was difficult coming out, and that's when Joey's mom and my ex-wife was diagnosed with MS. That was a lot too. On top of making the decision to come out, her getting sick made me feel like, what am I doing here? This isn't fair. At the same time, I didn't want my kids to live in a home where their parents weren't happy." Nick continued to share that he still loves his ex-wife even today. Overall, his goal was to allow his family to live happily. As far as what their children knew about the split, he shared they told their oldest child exactly what was going on. Joey figured it out when he was about 10. Joey became emotionally mature at a young age. Nick Graziadei bragged about Joey's emotional maturity. Nick said, "I think my son is beyond me. Being a kid of a divorced family could be a bad experience, or something that really traumatizes somebody, or it ends up being something they really learn from. Honestly, Joey has been in a world where he saw us divorced when he was not even 5 yet. I was not living in his home, but I was always there, and then he moved to another area a few years later. We always kept in touch, but to this day, I always say to my kids that I feel so bad and wonder if I mess things up." He believes his children are who they are today because of all they went through. They have him and their mom to bounce things off of. Plus, he said, and Joey has been lucky to have almost 3 parents, because Big Joe, his uncle, is another guy who's there. Joey has really grown into the person he is because he's been exposed to so much, and that's what it is. It's everything he's been exposed to that's made him who he is. Joey shared that he doesn't quite remember how old he was when he found out, but in the beginning, he didn't understand why. When he got older and finally knew all the answers, it made him more of an understanding person. Nick doesn't give himself enough credit. Joey also said, "You can tell my dad doesn't give himself any credit for the emotional intelligence that I have." He went on to say that his whole family, especially his dad's side, is extremely loving and extremely open. The one thing that they taught us really early on is you never stop loving on your family. In fact, he shared that they taught him from a young age to that it's okay to express emotions. What do you think about Joey and Nick's honest answers about his dad's coming out journey? Stay tuned for more updates.